Ashish. Thank you. First of all, thank you, John, for putting together this amazing event. It was almost you shared about my quality. I always knew about that, but this is my first participation here. A brief introduction about myself, I'm Surya Gummadi. I'm currently the president of Cognizant. I joined this great firm, which was a startup 25 years ago. But this is the only company I have worked with for the first 6 months of my career with Shankars. As a 21-year-old, I joined this startup called Cognizant 25 years ago. And it was a very small firm, just born at the frontiers of industrial technology at a sphere, getting almost Y2K era, Intro.com era to it. And it's a funny story. My parents were very concerned because after I graduated just from IIT, I joined Tata's for 6 months. And then I told my mom that I'm going to quit Tata's and join Cognizant. They were very good. They scared the hell out of me, saying that we're not going to get married. So they tried everything in the book, but it didn't work. But I chose to join. I thought, I would get the entrepreneurial experience by joining this startup. And 25 years later, we are 350,000 plus employees strong globally, operating in 47 countries. And I am the president of the firm, managing 75% of the business. So, Gaurav mentioned to me that I have to deliver a keynote on generative AI. I was pondering, what do I talk about generative AI? I mean, so much has been said, so much has been written, so much has been spoken. No conversation, whether in a professional setting or a personal setting or a private setting, is complete without uttering the word Gen AI in a few lines in a discussion. So, but then, I thought, even where we are as a firm, even what we do in this conversation, I can bring contextualization to talk. So what does generative AI mean to each and every one of us? I mean, many of you are from different industries. And what does it mean to each of you in your own industries? And many of you are entrepreneurs. What does it mean to your workforce? And what does it mean to the society? What is the societal impact of generative AI? So today I'm gonna dive deep into those three aspects. What does it mean to each of us and the industries that we operate in? What does it mean to our workforce? How should we think about our workforce in the era of generative AI? And how should we maneuver the societal impact or the TiEcon society by generative AI? And as I'm sure all of us agree that we are navigating the golden era of technology. In the past, technology used to be enabler for the businesses. Technology was not the core, it was enabler for the business. But in the recent past, after the revolution of social, technology started pivoting from enabler to the core. In the post-COVID era, and after the evolution of Gen AI, technology has firmly taken the seat as enabler of all the businesses. And no business can differentiate in this hyper-competitive environment without technology, without technology as that said. So in that context, applying a lens on three vectors, the impact of technology on business, the impact of technology on workforce, and the impact of generative AI on the society is something that will dive deep in the next year to run this skill. Before I do that, I just want to credentialize, what are my credentials to talk about this heavy subject here. So as I said, Cognizant was born at the confluence of industry and technology. So we are global professional services firm, serving clients in 10 diverse industries. And we got about 350,000 each of the field, 350,000 employees totally operating in 47 countries. And these are the industries that we serve, starting from healthcare, manufacturing, India, banking, communications, media, tech, financial services, the entire gamut of financial services, like just fintech, insurance, even in healthcare, the payers, insurance companies, hospitals, and the biopharma and clinical devices. So we serve clients across these 11 segments globally. And most of our clients are global 2000, each to is Fortune 100, Fortune 50 clients. So by virtue of serving these clients and by virtue of working with these clients, providing technology solutions, we have a unique vantage point for us to on how each of these technology disruptions maneuver, and how and where the puck is going with respect to each of these technologies. So even with generative AI, which have a very unique vantage point because we sit right at the confluence of industry. So that gives us a bit of a credibility. And when we look at these technology disruptions, we look at it in two vectors, inside out and outside. Inside out, specifically, what does it mean to us first? What does it mean to Cognizant? Because we have 350,000 employees globally. So what does generative AI mean to us? How does it impact us? How does it impact the hiring strategy? How does it impact the training strategy, our recruitment strategy? Do we need 350,000, or is it going to displace this technology? Is going to displace some jobs? Are we going to need less number of people? How do we think about productivity? How do we think about cost savings? The kinds of things that is inside out. Outside in is, what does it mean to the clients we serve? How does this technology disrupt, in this case, generative AI, disrupt their business processes? Or how does this impact their valuation? And things like that. So we evaluate or we apply a lens in these two vectors, and we did, like we catch up on the slides here. So we did that, and with that, so we have some interesting insights that I'm going to talk about today. And before I do that, let's kind of see what this generative AI has done so far, and how this generative AI or this technology disruption is different from the ones that we had. And it is different, this technology wave is different from the other technology, the disruptions that we had. So I'm sure all of you by now are very familiar with this statistical data point. So it just took ChatGPT 2 months to gather 100 million user base. I compare that with Facebook. It took 4.5 years for Facebook to get 100 million users, and YouTube took 1.5 years. And that's the power of this generative AI. But to see the rapid pace at which it's being adopted, the rapid pace at which it's still spread, makes it distinctive, makes it different from the other technology discussions we had in the recent past. We had a few the last, after the undeniably.com, then we pivoted to the social era, the social mobile, cloud era, now the generative AI. This is different. The rapid adoption of this technology and the pace at which it's being adopted makes it different. And the only other technology wave that this can be compared to is the evolution of internet at the beginning of this century. And this is a fun chart. When this was a research published, when the internet was adopted, or when the internet which is 50% of US households, this is the impact it had on the society. The number of people getting the driver's license, or the number of people trying alcohol, or the number of people even going on dates has come down. And that's the kind of impact the internet had. Now, a lot of companies and researchers are thinking and working on conducting pilots to see how these curves are going to morph or pivot to generative AI. But people are going to drink more, and are people going to drink less? This jokes apart. This is the kind of societal impact that clean technology wave would, and that's why we compare generative AI to the evolution of internet. And the jury is still out. We still don't know the depth and the breadth of the impact of generative AI on the society, but have extremely careful and when we have to navigate this game. And when we talk to entrepreneurs, when we talk to the executives, on how do they feel about this technology? Do they think this is different from others, or do they think this is one amongst the other technology names that we have? This is the research conducted by HFS, Cognizant Americas. This is an analyst firm. And they have asked this question to the executives. And majority of the executives quoted three reasons on why this generative AI is distinctive and different from the other technology disruptions we have. The three main reasons are rapid adoption, result in just 2 months to get to 100 users, and ease of deployment. This can be deployed much easier. It doesn't need a lot of things with just a small downloads or it's very it can be easily deployed. And above all, ease of use. It can be democratized very easily. It can be used by anyone with minimum technical skills. So these are the three main reasons that executives and industrialists and entrepreneurs and researchers have quoted that this is going to have a profound impact on enterprises across the world. And then the businesses across the world. And almost 90% of them unanimously agree that it's going to have a positive impact on the business.
That's the one.
Because when you think of generative AI, in the last 8 to 10 months, we jumped 3 S-curves. From the first S-curve was curiosity about generative AI. What is this technology? What is this all about? From there to quickly believing or quickly jumping to the conclusion that it's going to save the world. The world is going to be, driven and saved by generative AI. To quickly having apprehension now that, oh my gosh, this thing already gave us the world, it's going to destroy them. So we have jumped 3 S-curves in the last 10 months or so. And many of us in this room are in the spectrum somewhere around these S-curves. Some of us believe it's going to be positive, some of us believe it's not going to be positive, whatever. So now, until you see the benefits, I can see the very use cases which I want to share. It's hard to read the impact, but 90% of the CEOs and executives believe that it's going to have a positive impact. Now let's start getting deep into the first rate. The impact of generative AI on the industries that we do operate is in. So, first and foremost, almost every industry on this planet will be impacted by generative AI. Almost every industry. And almost every industry, every entrepreneur, every business have begun to think it's not, and some of them have already started adopting this technology in order to think use cases for their business. Some of them are ahead of some of the industries that are ahead, for example, like retail or biopharma industry, but then electronics or banks, they're which are ahead of the others, such as healthcare or insurance, which are kind of cashed out by some. And use cases, the early adoption of this technology across this industry is slightly different. It's written all over the map. For example, in retail, retailers are mostly focusing on leveraging this technology for marketing and customization. And in tech industry, Facebook, Google, and all, they're trying to leverage this technology for driving speed and efficiency in software development. And in banking and healthcare industry, the initial use cases are more around personalized healthcare, providing personalized care to the patients. In banking, the focus is more around risk and fraud along with personalizing experience. In manufacturing logistics space, the initial adoption of the use cases are more around the supply chain optimization. And in the biopharma, as I said, the focus is more on the clinical trials. And in insurance, the industry is more on the risk assessment. So we work with clients across all these industries, and it have helped many of our clients in these industries adopt this technology, implement this technology, and are helping them reap the benefits. I'm going to talk about a few case studies here. But before we get there, irrespective of the focus area or the industry that you operate in, almost all the businesses are trying to drive the value in these 3 vectors. They're using the generative AI. One is to drive cost efficiency across the value chain, optimizing the business processes or across the value chain. And the second is customer experience. These again both internal and external. Customer experience for the employees and within the firm, and the customer experience for the end users, depending on the stream that you operate in. And the third vector is creating new revenue streams, creating growth for the business. So these are the 3 vectors that every enterprise, large, medium, and small size firms, adopting generative AI are trying to build or develop use cases in one of these things. And particularly large firms, large banks, large insurance firms, and large retailers are doing all. And mid-sized firms are probably doing the first and the second way. So the small firms, the startups, are more trying to drive the cost efficiency. I mean, if I would categorize how it is.
Now let's look at some of the case studies. These are the case studies where Cognizant helped the clients. The clients that thought that about what exactly the insurance space. The mid-tier PNC insurance guys launched this AI-based app.
15 to 20% reduction in the cost per investment. And similarly, for manufacturing and logistics, a mid-tier tech company has optimized their delivery routes using Gen AI, 20% reduction in fuel, and nearly saved $300 million cost. And a major wealth management firm recommended an OpenAI and chatbot, like 20 to 30% reduction in advisors. So there are many such case studies, and only when you start seeing benefits like this, say $300 million, 30% reduction, 20% reduction, then you know it's real. And this is how it feels where Gummadi is done. And remember those three vectors. This is the first vector. This is driving the cost efficiency. Similarly, for improving the experience, a major retailer has used this technology. We have helped a major retailer for visual search and virtual try-on experiences. And I'm sorry, the print is very small, but data breach somewhere was 30 to 40% benefits leveraging this technology. And in healthcare, a major hospital chain has deployed this technology for clinical intelligence solution. And the benefit is that it reduced doctors' time spent on documentation by 45%. And we have helped these clients, and these are real case studies where we have helped the clients deploy this technology, execute it, and we have seen the clients bring the benefits. These are the real case studies. And this is our second vector. Third, this is again relevant to very large firms that are already beginning to use generative AI to drive growth, expand new geographies, and to the latest technology. And again, a major retailer has used Gen AI for retail personalization features and automated product recommendations. And look at the benefits, 74.7% of consumers. That's why it's very, we're mentioning it in a dot here. It's actually more likely to make reviews purchases. And similarly, in the life sciences, med devices, devices from have bought those practices that's helped them improve their sales. So these are the real case studies. So the impact of generative AI is real. So that's why I picked one case study each across the industries so that we narrate, and across three vectors. So the key is each business or each industry will have to get out of the rut of analysis and paralysis and get out of the hype and mode and accept the fact that it's real and start thinking about adopting it, implementing it, and you can choose the vectors that are relevant, like with demand, any other dynamics, module price, operating analysis and all. So this is to establish the fact that the impact on the business is real, and no business is spared on this. So it is this cross. Now let's look at the second vector. Now that it's established that it's going to impact every single enterprise on the planet or every single business on the planet, now we should start thinking about what does it mean to our workforce. So, I think almost every business owner, small, medium, large size enterprise, business owners are thinking about what should be our workforce strategy around generative AI, or how do we keep our workforce relevant around generative AI. What should be our training strategy? And how do we upskill and cross-skill our employees? So you like this. So there is a firm named Leverture, maybe it's offshore, like no. They are global workforce consulting and management firm. So they deal with workforce validation. And they have conducted some experiments, they have done some pilots, and they have done some research, and they have published this. They have categorized the workforce into multiple zones, depending on the skill, depending on the skill level, and the complexity of the task. And they have conducted pilots on the impact of generative AI across these visual zones, so that you can view from distance. And so some of the zone 1 and zone 2 are tasks that are less complex and that enclosed. And they have published that the impact of generative AI is high in the sectors that are content, imaging, programming, or high-tech approach. The impact of generative AI is low in the labor-intensive and people management kind of roles. But this is their published, this is not Cognizant, this is Leverture. But this is interesting. And so they have categorized the workforce across into these 5 zones. I mean, you can say that particular role is listed here or there, but take it in the context here. And they have further said, they have further done experiments. They said this generative AI technology is going to create upward mobility to the workforce. For example, the people who are in zone 1 or zone 2, which is the workers, the gardeners, and traders, and that kind of a profiles, can leverage this generative AI and jump zones that creates upward mobility. And remember, we spoke about this technology being easy to use, easy to adopt, and it can be democratized. So if the workforce can leverage this, they can create upward mobility in their career, and thereby improving their social and standard of work. So almost every employee or every worker will have these opportunities for this upward mobility. For us, we are a 350,000 strong firm. So we are thinking of that. But probably, our workforce will fit in a couple of zones here, depending on the skill and the complexity of the task we are executing. But we are in a high impact zone, because we are a professional services from 30 years progress of industry and technology. That's why we partnered with Virk to understand the impact of generative AI on the workforce. And now the onus is on us as employers to create these opportunities to help the workforce upskill, reskill, and cross-skill, so that they can upward mobility. Otherwise, you are going to lose that. So someone else is going to pick the lead by providing those opportunities. Because all of us want upward mobility in our health. And that's And I was chatting in the hallways here. Many of us pondering on this fact that this generative AI is going to kill jobs. And let's face it, every technology disruption is going to impact some jobs. Beginning from the industrial revolution, first industrial revolution, first automation, not a first set of machines, or invention of electricity. I mean, some jobs will be impacted. But think of the jobs that got created by the technology, which is multi-fold, which is exponential. I mean, how many of us in this room 10 years ago thought that there would be roles like AI developers, data scientists? 2007, 6, 7, 8, in those years, many of us think of those roles to be so prevalent. Now, this same thing in this technology. As workers or the workforce work towards upward mobility in their professional careers, this technology is going to create new roles. Some of the examples are published even there. So I'll read out some of them. Is new roles to be prompt engineers, AI code testers, or AI content strategists, AI integration leads, AI ethics and governance. These are new roles. I mean, these are not very prevalent. But this technology is going to create some of these core roles. While it's going to impact certainly jobs in certain segments in those zones that we saw, growing the impact on certain results, being a certain content, tech-enabled jobs to be the high impact area. But it's going to create a lot more bureaus. And the colleges, the universities, we work with, just to give the context, we recruited thousands each day. And it goes for 15 to 20,000 workforce each year globally. So we are working with universities and colleges. We adjust the curriculum on these lines so that intake channels are calibrated. That is one part. And what do we do with the 800,000 employee base? So we got to upskill, reskill, and cross-skill. So we are actively thinking on that. So that's the impact of generative AI on the workforce. It's going to be profound. Right. And the third aspect is, and the most important aspect is what's going to be the society. That chart will look like in 5 years time. So we are thinking through that. And also, what happens to critical tech view? Generative AI does everything. Are we going to lose the cognitive muscle? Are we going to lose the curiosity? And what would be its impact on the mental health? Are we going to still have the resilience? Generative AI is doing everything. Starting from writing the newsletter to essays to, I was talking to a CEO the other day. The CEO mentioned that when I was just input, I'm just speaking with an audience here, give me some good ideas. Let's go speak good ideas. Just look at the art of the positive, but again, you have to apply the cognitive skills and stuff. So what would this technology do to the mental health? Because if everything is done the way it's being done, so are we going to have human interactions? Are we going to have collaboration amongst the workforce? Are we going to have the friction? Unless you have competition, you never get filters. That's what all of us know, right? So are we going to lose that friction just because of this generative AI? Because each of us we have our own tracks. So these are some aspects that all of us need to, as entrepreneurs, as startup owners, as large firm executives, all of us will have to think through it and maneuver this very, very carefully because it's going to have profound impact on society. So while we get excited about those 3 vectors, which is very cost efficiency, improving exteriors, generating new revenue streams and growth, this is also very good. Because if we get this wrong, then there's no point in getting those 3 vectors. Well, that's the medium crisis. That's the societal. In fact, it was generative AI. So now bringing it all together. So it's going to have impact on each and every one of us. What's established. It's going to have impact on every industry that in or you operate. It's part of the key. And it's going to have impact on certain type of jobs, but it's going to create a lot more new jobs, a lot more new roles. The roles and jobs that are going to be very prevalent 5 years from now, we don't even know what they are. It's going to have evolved over the next few years. And it's also established that every entrepreneur, every business owner, every executive will have to focus on upskilling, reskilling, cross-skilling abilities, and providing opportunities for upward mobility by leveraging their lesson. And they'll have to focus on the societal impact. So with that, I'll sign off. But I like this quote from Howard Professor. It's not Gen AI that's going to impact your job. It's someone who is using Gen AI that's going to impact your job.
That's us.
So I firmly believe that the change ahead of us is, far greater than the change behind us. So, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So, I don't know the format. I'm supposed to take questions.
Yeah, a couple of questions. We have time for.
Yeah, some time.
Someone told me that there's a water gun on the block here. So, should be. I'm well ahead of my schedule. Sure.
Questions?
Yes,
Please. Because
I know you said Gen AI seems to be a very broad concept. Can you take one specific area and say Gen AI is making a difference? Take any one area, say in clinical trials, you said.
Yeah, so for example, some of the case studies I showed you there, that are the examples of the impact that it's creating in a specific area. So for example, we will talk about, you asked for clinical trials, so I'll say that, again, I'm making sure that I don't cross the lines of the clients when I give those examples. So I'll give you Cognizant examples. We have the claims processing practice. So earlier, there is a good chance that 65% of you in this room, irrespective of who your health insurance provider is processed on our platform, because we process 65% of US health insurance population. So that apart, earlier when our claims adjusters or the claims were being processed, the healthcare claims were being processed, the auto-adjudicated claims, which are claims of low rate. Other claims, a human has to look into the claims, figure out what the service was provided by doctors and the course of activity or not. Now, with Gen AI, we have deployed Gen AI on our platform. So where a user can speak in plain English or type in plain English and say that, pick all the claims that has overpayment of $500 and apply this correction. So within seconds, some 800, 900 claims can get adjusted. Otherwise, an individual will have to go into each of those 800 claims, make some 5 clicks or 7 clicks, go into 7 different screens and do that. Think of it, a human command saying, adjust all the claims that have this problem. And adjust all the claims by doing is X, Y, Z.
Should I know?
And think of the productivity benefits. That's impacted 3 things. That impacted the jobs of those adjusters.
Yes, right.
But how do they'll get upward mobility, so they can use, they learn how to use this technology, they can use that time to do something else. Hope that helps.
thank you.
Ahoy, over here. Ahoy. Ahoy, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. I'm Ryan Folland from the Entrepreneur Center, DCI. My question is on the creativity thread. I just got an email today from OpenAI saying that the GPT store is going to open early next year. And with our ability to create GPTs with voice interaction, no coding needed, I'm curious your thoughts on how our ability to create GPTs that are for specific uses, how that taps into sparking creativity. At the Entrepreneur Center, we're working on GPTs just to help get those regular tasks done. So it's that level of our ability to create the barriers and borders within this massive system to be more specific. I'm curious your thought on that thread.
I mean, it's hard to, it's not a cookie cutter type currently. It depends on the industry, or it depends on what you're trying to solve for first. It also depends on the regulations that you have around it. So in my opinion, you'll have to deal with it on a case-by-case basis. So I do not have firm thoughts on how it should be done in a specific way. We have not.
But I'd be curious if your company would want to empower your employees to make their own GPTs to go in their own.
So I'll tell you that. We are very cautious in doing that because we are very, as I said, we serve clients in those 10 different industries. We don't want to get into liability issues with the end customers by doing something that we're not supposed to do on one side. And we also don't want, we also still don't know the impact on the mental health or cognitive muscle of our own employees. So that's why what we are doing, but that said, what we're doing is we are taking a select group of employees, connecting small islands and studying the results of those and trying to scale it in a controlled thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How concerned is Cognizant about safe AI, and what is Cognizant doing about making sure that you don't have Terminator 3 or Terminator 4?
No, as I said, the 3 skills that I spoke about, many of us are at different points in those S-curves. Some of us believe that it's going to save the world. Some of us believe that it's going to destroy the world. Some of us are somewhere in between, not knowing what it is. But we, as a responsible firm, first of all, we follow the law of flat. So in the sense, we follow the client's strategy of that's we follow the client's strategy of for the clients we serve. Some clients are very clear. They said, you know what, we can deploy this technology. These are the guardrails. And some clients are saying that, no, we are very cautious. We want to wait. And some clients are more aggressive and saying, that should be fine. So we align with the client strategy. That's the first step. While we do that, as I just answered, we are very cautious on the impact it's creating in our own ecosystem. So that's why we are conducting controlled pilots to make sure that we are in a regulated environment and to see that nothing is going outside. So it's hard to answer these questions here because the results of these pilots are not fully decoded at all. So they're not convincing us. For example, we conducted pilots. Yes, I can say. We conducted pilots for certain clients who said, deploy this technology and enable the productivity improvements in the coding workforce. For example, earlier you took 10 coders or 10 developers and tech testers. Deploy this technology and figure out how many coders do you need, or you can stay. And we realized that after conducting the experiments, we realized that savings could be up to 40%. The clients came back and said, you know what, give that 40% back, which is fine. But can this be broad-based? We don't know it. So these are controlled pilots.
We have a question from last one. Hello, my name is Sanjeev, and AI investor. My question is, picking up on the last thing you said about coders and such, as an engineer myself, as an AI expert myself before, I'm curious as to how much of feedback will go into creating better models. Like how will generative AI itself contribute debugging those, deploying those? This is DevOps, MLOps, as well as just regular software coding. How is that ecosystem going to change as a result of AI?
So in this whole thing, the data is key. For the global professional services firms like us, we don't own the data. But in certain businesses where we have platforms like healthcare, like this book I gave, that example of health, the Drake's Blossom platform, there we have access to the data. And in the segments where we have access to the data, and to some extent we own the data, we are thinking of these large language models, and then we are trying to create the feedback loops by training, and retraining, and looking at the customized use cases, or specific use cases, and enabling that back into feedback. In the industries where we do not have this data access, we are using published LLMs, and most of the times our clients, dictate which way we go. Some clients want to create their own LLMs, but they have some retailers, they don't want to share their data. They want to create their own LLMs. Some manufacturing companies, they want to create their own LLMs. And some, they want to use public LLMs and apply their data on top of it, and then build a layer of yours. So it's kind of a mixed bag. It's all over the place.
Teachers.
Thank you.